Borí always boil your water before you use them. For those of us that are able to, you know, keep up and drink good water, is it the sachet water, is it the bottled water, please do well to ensure that you are consuming good water, you're using good water, and your environment is kept clean. I am saying this because the cases of cholera in Lagos alone, in Nigeria, as far wide as Nigeria as well, has been increasing on a daily. We need to be very careful. We need to take proactive measures to ensure that we stay healthy and clean. Welcome once again to the ADVERT show, where we look at stories that got lucky to make it to the national dailies. We jump off for a quick break. When we come back, we go straight into the stories. Stay with us. Alright, welcome once again to the CA Channel's Breakfast Show. Do well to click on the share button and invite your friends and family to join us live on channel 614 Moplex TV decoder if you're watching on Moplex. If you're joining us via our social media handles, CACTV on Facebook and YouTube, do well to subscribe, do well to click that share button, like this, and join the conversation. Okay, all right, we go straight into the national dailies as we do on the Breakfast Show. We'll start with the Vanguard newspaper, still talking about the cholera outbreak. Federal government shopping for emergency vaccines as Nigeria records 54 deaths. Newspaper. Forex. CBN discontinues price verification system as criteria for import. So the Central Bank of Nigeria is looking at different measures, different efforts to help importation. You know, most of the things, a lot of the things that we consume here, that we make use of here, whether it's for consumption, whether it's for production, they are imported. So the CBN is looking at ways to help that sector. Edo Guba or Ojezwa loses bid to disqualify Ighodalo. Coming from Ighodalo, we would make youths leaders of today, not future. Insecurity, 2,600 killed. 50 communities record 135 attacks in Benue. Amnesty International, this coming from Amnesty International. From pen to profit, federal government reaffirms commitment to free press. Okay, protesters want declaration of emergency in Rivers State as Fubara alleges protesters attempt to bomb hotel. The political crisis in Rivers State is becoming more and more alarming. Recently, we heard of the APC governors, the APC, not APC governors, APC chieftains in the state calling for a state of emergency in the state. Fubara came out to say, look, Rivers State is peaceful. However, there are still some parts of the Rivers State House of Assembly that are concerned as to why the PDP chieftains in the state are silent. Why aren't they saying something? I mean, Rivers State is becoming more ungovernable by the day. But similarly, Fubara has shown resilience. He has shown commitment to ensuring that Rivers State becomes peaceful and Rivers State becomes a state that is duly recognized in the nation. 432 billion naira probe report. Ex-governor El-Rufai drags Kaduna Assembly to court. The former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has come out to file a suit against the Kano State Assembly, saying you cannot make such allegations without proper evidence. This is an infringement on my fundamental human rights. through his spokesperson, he has filed a suit and he is taking the Kano State House of Assembly to court. A lot of persons are saying, well, on issues like this, one thing that stands out, one thing that we can do to avoid issues like, because many a time we get ex-governors that are being charged with misappropriation of funds, that are being charged with mismanagement, that are being charged with diversion of public funds into their personal coffers, into their personal things. There have been some funds that cannot be accounted for in past administrations. A lot of persons have said, why is it always after they are out of office? Because by the time they're out of office, they have every right to come back at you and say, look, you need to provide evidences. This is an infringement of my fundamental human rights. You cannot lay these claims without evidences. Many a time, we just hear allegations. I feel personally you need to do your homework. The same energy, the same strength that the federal government is weighing down on the likes of Godwin Emefiele, the former CBN governor. I think if the Kano State Assembly has its evidence and they are very sure of what they are saying, there's nobody bigger than the law that cannot be probed. But before you make such allegations, always have your facts. It is better, maybe you want to avoid issues like this whilst they are in office. It still boils down to the issue of immunity granted to public office holders when they are in power. These ex-governors, when they are in power, you see all of these misappropriations, you see all of this mismanagement, but you cannot come out to say anything until they are out of office. By the time they are out of office, the monies, you need to still look out for how you can address these situations. Osun Monarch, 4 others docked for alleged arson, robbery. And in sports, if we look at sports stories, 2026 FIFA World Cup, Ubede tip Bafana to qualify ahead of Super Eagles. It is looking like the camp of the Super Eagles is now even doubting itself. But we are the Giants of Africa. We need to go out there and prove those things. All we need to do is work back on what we need to work on. Alright, that is all we can say from the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Do grab a copy to get details of the stories and lots more. Next, we have a look at Daily Independent newspaper. Tinubu vows to sustain war against drugs, illicit substances. Drug test kits must be drug test kits must for homes, schools, offices. That's coming from Mawa. The president has come out to talk about illicit drug use, drug abuse. There was a recent outcry from a member of the House of Representatives that spoke about the high rates of drug abuse that has gone beyond. It has gone beyond the common man. It is now more. It's now patronized more by those that are classified as very important personalities in society because they can afford it. I mean, drug abuse, marijuana, these are billion-dollar sectors, billion-dollar industries in the country, in the world, in different parts of the world. And a lot of people are asking, who takes this drug abuse? Who abuse these drugs? Who takes these hard drugs? Well, our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said he would sustain a war against drugs. Drug abuse affects our community. These social vices that we have in society are sustained by hard drugs. This ill vices that we see in society, we see things like robbery, we see things like kidnapping. They are not done with normal eyes, they are not done with normal spirits, they are not done with normal minds. They need to be, affected by something. It takes a lot for you to, have a human mind, to be humane, as to commit, evil and commit crimes against society. But I do hope the federal government can take this to work. Coming from the office of the Vice President Kashim Shettima, Tinubu not working against interest of North. Sanwo-Olu, Lagos proactive steps averted catastrophic outcome in cholera outbreak. So despite the increase in deaths that we have seen, Sanwo-Olu is saying Lagos have, inevitably averted a catastrophic outcome in cholera battle. We do hope more active measures, more proactive measures can be taken to avoid, these 54 people is still a lot. It is still a lot. 54 people in one state is still, these are human lives. These are human lives. AMCON's conflicting profit report calls for worry. Dangote says fire at refinery won't affect operations. So in spite of Dangote pushing its due date, its proposed date for supply in July, from the first week, it has been postponed to the third week. Dangote has said the fire outbreak that it had recently, would not affect its productions. From what we have here, the part of the refinery that was damaged was the effluent treatment plant. The effluent treatment plant, the part of the refinery was a section of the 20 billion Dangote refinery and petrochemicals in Lagos. According to the president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, the change in production date was due to a slight delay. He assured that PMS would be available by the third week of July. So we do hope that Africa's largest refinery, that is very, very crucial in these nations' effort to achieve energy safe sufficiency and reduce dependence on imported petroleum products. We do hope that we can meet Dangote can meet its due date. This incident is occurring after the refinery's management accused international oil companies of sabotaging its operations. Remember, some heads of the Dangote Group came out to accuse international oil companies of price manipulation for crude oil. There were some other allegations about local refineries not wanting to deliver crude oil to Dangote, and there have been issues of logistics. Difficulties. There have been issues of transportation difficulties, and this has pushed the Dangote refinery to have to import crude oil from foreign states like the United States of America, which still affects the cost of importation. It still boils down to cost of importation and affects the cost of production, which will still leave the cost of petrol, diesel, and other petrochemicals that Dangote would produce still on the high side for average Nigerians that would still buy here in Nigeria. But we do hope the reason for all of this, which is to ensure that Nigeria limits its dependence on imported products. We do hope that that aim, that vision is duly achieved. $1 trillion economy. Nigerian Exchange unveils e-offering platform in readiness for banks recapitalization. El-Rufai sues Kaduna Assembly over 432 billion naira probe report. Army deploys 177 personnel to Guinea-Bissau for peacekeeping. We are going to have peacekeepings in Guinea-Bissau. Yet we are having regional crisis, security crisis. 177 personnel. Well, we are not saying we should not help our sister countries. We are not saying we should not help other foreign nations, but we also have our own problems we need to deal with. In as much as the Nigerian army has come out to say, look, they are capable. All they need to do, because they cannot function on their own, we have a general commander of the federal forces. We have they take orders from the powers that be. So if the powers that be do not have the will to help us in this nation, there is little to anything that they can do. But we can see that a lot of powers that be are now coming together to foster issues, to look at issues such as the state policing, which would really help the insecurity situation we are having in the country. So we do hope a lot comes out, a lot of good news comes out from there. Fugbara, Rivers crisis. Explosion at hotel ploy to force state of emergency. Pro-Wike ex-local government chairman may freeze council accounts. That's coming from the House of Reps. A lot coming out on Rivers recently. Only government policies can enhance access to quality medicines. That's coming from Peter Obi. We'll take a look now at the Daily Trust Independence, the newspaper you can trust. Coming from the Debt Management Office, Nigeria borrowed 7.71 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024. Borrowings, our debt ratio has gotten to 121 trillion naira. A lot of persons, a lot of experts, a lot of analysts, a lot of chieftains, a lot of well-meaning Nigerians have come out to say that the amount that the former administration borrowed in its 8 years is lesser than the amount that this present administration has borrowed in just 1 year. We have seen the reason. It is because with the supposed removal, with the earmarked removal of petrol subsidy that we have in the nation, a lot of infrastructure needs to be in place. Despite the more savings that we are having, despite the more money is being going into government coffers, we still need to borrow to meet up with a lot of infrastructural development. We still need to borrow to meet up with a lot of production. We need to borrow to fix a lot of things. I mean, naira is currently valued at over 1,500 naira. The CBN needs enough money in its coffers to meet up with our foreign reserves. Since we have a very dollarized economy, we need to have these monies in place to meet up with other things. A lot of persons are saying, well, the priority of this particular administration, if you take a look at it critically, you get to see where their priority lies. A lot of persons have criticized the 21 billion naira renovation of the vice president's residence. A lot of persons have criticized the SUVs. A lot of persons have criticized the presidential jet, in as much as the federal government have come out to say, look, we want to put on sale old presidential jet and then use that money to get a new one. A lot of persons have said, look, our priorities, the priorities of Nigerians might be different from the priorities of the government, but the government have come out to say, look, the necessary decisions that needs to be made to ensure that our economy moves from a belly economy to a production economy, they are going to take those hard decisions. We do hope we can move further from here. 6 students drown in Kaduna River after exams. Very sad one. We really need to check how we celebrate in this country. Kenya's president drops tax hike after deadly unrest. Personally, why did it have to get to a deadly unrest before the Kenyan president dropped the tax hike policy? Why did it have to get to that? Why is it that in Africa we get to see that there have to be debts? Must there be debts first? Must there be bloodshed? Must there be issues of lives being lost, properties being destroyed before government policies get to function for the people, by the people, and of the people? Why do we have to get to that point? Well, I feel this is a wake-up call to Nigerians and to the present administration that we need to ensure that policies are for the best interest of the people, because at the end of the day, the people are the ones that you need to take care of. That is the primary reason for governance. Government The primary reason for governance is to take care of the welfare of the people. Alright, Niger mining pit collapse. Over 30 still trapped 3 weeks after. 4 mutilated bodies recovered in 2 days. Operation done manually. That's coming from victims' families. I mean, this is what happens for the Minister of Mineral Resources, Dele Alake, has come out to say illegal mining should stop. But a lot of persons are still in this, and this is one outcome of illegal mining in Nigeria. Over 30 still trapped 3 weeks after. Air Rufai sues Kaduna Assembly over 432 billion naira probe report. Man mobbed for stealing pot of rice in the Federal Capital Council. We do hope, Federal Capital Territory Council, we do hope that the government is seeing all of this. When people come out to say on newspapers and different media houses that there is hunger in the land, it is not over exaggerating it. This is not for hyperbolic sake. Hunger is actually in the land. We need to really do a lot to, you know, ameliorate the challenges that the common man is facing. Don't allow tribalism into your affairs, Sultan tells Nigerian army. Okay, this is how much we can take from the front pages of the Daily Trust newspaper. We'll jump off for a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at The Punch, The Guardian, and the Daily Times newspaper. Stay with us. Welcome back to CA Channels Breakfast Show right here on channels 614 Moplex TV, on Facebook CAC TV, on YouTube CAC TV. Remember to like and subscribe and share to your friends and families to be a part of the conversation. It has been a lovely time discussing all things Nigeria, looking at issues around the country to ensure that we are updated with what is going on in our environment. You need to be aware of your surroundings, you need to be aware of your community, you need to be aware on the happenings so you can know how to position yourself for the good of the land. And you know fully well that Nigeria is well blessed. We are a blessed nation, and like I always say on the program, Nigeria is so blessed and Nigerians are such good people that as long as they see what they are achieving, as long as they see what they are spending money on, as long as they see what they are spending their time, their efforts to follow, to do, to pay, they are very fine. If we see the lights, if we see the electricity, if we see the power, we will pay. If we see the good roads, if we see the good transportation system, if we see the good health system, if we see the good education system, the pay is not the problem, as long as we have the opportunity. Nigerians are very resourceful people. Nigerians are very, industrious people that are ready and capable and able and have the capabilities to ensure that they make good use of what they have around there. We continue with the stories that we have been having a look at on the Punch newspaper. Stress test on banks necessitated recapitalization. That's coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria. You do know that recently, for a few period of weeks, the Central Bank of Nigeria has been on this recapitalization mandate for banks in Nigeria, commercial banks, to as much as 500 million naira. It is amazing, just to show how strong we need. It has been a survival of the fittest contest in the banking sector. I mean, this is the sector that controls the inflows and outflows of money. So it controls the economy, it controls how the money is spent, it controls where the money goes. All this is, we need to ensure that the economy is in good hands, it's in strong hands, it's in trusted hands. It's not just in the hands of anybody that can wake up in the morning and have a few amounts of money and can open a bank. No, it has to be in the hands of those that we can trust with our money, that we can trust with our economy. So kudos to the Central Bank of Nigeria and the CBN Governor Olayemi Kadosu. Government ASU meets to avert strike in varsities. Federal government, banks begin talks on nationwide broadband rollout. 423 billion naira theft. El-Rufai sues Kaduna Assembly challenges probe. We have seen a whole lot of that on the national dailies. Dangote refinery, crude supply crisis threatens oil investment. Operators warn federal government. Federal government urges to deepen investors' confidence. Dangote allays fear over refinery fire. Tinubu backs NDLEA to end drug abuse trafficking. National Assembly resumes plans 2023 budget implementation extension. How we killed commercial sex worker for rituals. That's coming from a suspect. We really need to be very, very careful in Nigeria. A lot of difficult security issues, a lot of challenges, the way people are going about trying to make this money in this country. A lot of persons have decided to put their hands into diabolical means. It might be quite overwhelming, but we really appreciate the efforts of the Nigerian police force and the other security apparatus we have in the country in some of these cases that they have been able to apprehend, they have been able to bring the criminal to justice. We do commend them. PDP candidate receives APC defectors, vows to unseat Ayedatiwa. Recently a lot of persons came out on this particular matter. Ayedatiwa, the governor of Lucky Ayedatiwa, who is the governor of Ondo State since 2023. He has been in the news recently for different issues that have been surrounding the state. On the matter, a former deputy governor in Ondo State, Agbola Ajayi, and the camp of Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa traded words on Monday over last week's court judgment scrapping 33 local government development areas created by the state governor Rotimi Akeredolu in September of 2023. You do know now a lot of people have come out to criticize this particular movement. We do a lot of political matters happening all over the country, political drama, political crisis in Rivers, in Kano, in Katsina, in Ondo states. A lot is just going. We do hope that Nigeria does not become ungovernable for these governors. Out of pocket, high cost of care hits public hospitals, uninsured patients. You know, a lot of persons have been spending their own money now in federal government hospitals and public hospitals. These are hospitals where Nigerians are supposed to be able to go and receive free health care. We do hope that, you know, government comes to the rescue of the average Nigerian. Northeast, home to over 2 million uneducated children, says UNICEF. Recently we have seen a whole lot coming out of northeastern states. I'm talking about states like Borno. I'm talking about states like Yobe, talking about states like Gombe in the northeastern parts of the country. And you know, recently the Northeastern Governors Forum raised concerns that the region has been neglected. The governors lamented the federal government's absence, saying it is overwhelming. This was disclosed during the forum's 10th meeting, which was held in Bauchi State. Different governors in the Northeast came together to lay their concerns, lay their complaints to the public, to the masses, that infrastructural development is not coming to the Northeast. A lot of persons have questioned the outburst and the lamentations by these governors. I mean, you also go to the federal government every month to collect your state allocations. You go to the federal government every month to receive money. Other states have been able to utilize their money to bring development to the states. Yes, we know that recently, despite the debt ratio, we have a lot of states, in fact top states like Lagos State, Ogun State, Imo, Rivers, even Abia State are states that have collected loans to augment what they receive from the federal government, and we have seen developments in these states. But why is it that the northeastern governors are coming out to say that they are waiting for the federal government to still come and bring infrastructure development to those states? What's happening to the money that they are using? A lot of citizens in that state are questioning this outburst and outcry from the northeastern states. I mean, 2 million uneducated children. It's a lot to take in. Nigeria recorded 75,000 new HIV infections in 2023, says NACA. Naira depreciation adds 17.8 trillion naira to public debt in 3 months. Muric, Arewa Group knocks Sokoto government over passage of anti-sultanate bill. Cholera, Nigeria records 54 deaths, 1,579 cases in 32 states. Shadow of presidential aircraft hangs over National Assembly emergency sitting today. Hundreds of APC members decry hunger. Decamp to PDP in Ondo State. This is just what we've been talking about in Ondo State. The APC members are crying out hunger when we're talking about the man in the Federal Capital Territory Council that was mobbed for stealing a pot of rice in the Federal Capital Territory Council, and we were saying that there is literally hunger in the land. We have now seen that it is not just for the common man, it's not just for the average man. Even those in the political offices are coming out to decry the same thing, and this is the reason they are decamping members. Hundreds of APC members are leaving the APC and decamping to the PDP in Ondo. A lot of persons have come out to say that yes, to decamp, you do understand that everything that has to, if we want things to work in this country, we cannot take away the place of the government. But a lot of persons have said, we have tried different political parties. We have seen different people coming out to say that they will take Nigeria to the promised land. We have seen different ones. Nigerians should not forget history. these are the same cross-carpeting politicians that we have. We really need to look out for new ways. Politicians need to look out for new means to ameliorate the sufferings and the difficulties that Nigerians are facing. Lastly, we have a look now at the Daily Times newspaper. Federal government, ASU, end meeting agree on amicable resolutions. El-Rufai drags Kaduna State Assembly to court for defamation. World Drug Day, Tinubu rallies support for drug war. We will not gag the press, federal government assures. Drop your arms, embrace dialogue. Chief of Army Staff advises agitators, others. Says it is only in a peaceful atmosphere that the economy of a country can thrive. 2023 budget. NAS set to extend implementation of capital component. Holds emergency sessions today. We are considering a wide range of issues. That's coming from the Senate spokesman. That is all we can take from the front pages of the Daily Times newspaper. And this is how much we can take on today's edition of the Breakfast Show right here on CA Channels TV. We really appreciate your efforts, we appreciate your time, we appreciate your attention to sticking to this channel. For more updates on the program, we come your way again tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. on the program, where we look at stories that made it on the front pages of the national dailies. My name is Peace Ufuma Magege, urging you to live a healthy life. Remember, cleanliness is next to godliness, and for us to thrive as a nation, the change that we are seeking from the federal government, the change that we are looking at the federal government to embrace, it starts with us. Let's do the one we can do in our local government environment. We hold our government accountable. We do not sell our votes. We do not sell our rights. We do not sell our future. We ensure that whatever we are looking for in this country is not focused on only the barely infrastructure. Let's make those due sacrifices that we need to make to take our country to the next level. Have yourself a peaceful day. Bye bye for now.